Hey guys, Daryl, Louisiana Simple Living. So it is March, early March, and it's time to get out and get our beds ready for planting our seedlings that we brought up inside. So we're going to do that. So we got to amend those beds. I do have some potatoes and some beans and a few other things that I think I'm going to plant as well. So let's get started. All right, I've been busy talking about amending the beds, but I ended up having to right here these blackberries. I had 2 or 3 plants of blackberries right here. They just didn't like they were going to survive. They're dead, so we're going to have to replace them. So I went ahead and pulled them. What I'm going to show you is we're going to go ahead and amend the beds, these 2 taller beds. I'm not going to go through the whole garden. Nevertheless, this is what it looks like. You got 2 16 by 4s over there. You got these 2 beds that are, I don't remember if it's 24 high or 18 high. That one and that one. This one's also 12 foot by 4. Got a couple of 5 by 4s or 4 of those. And up here, you got a 16 as well. 16 by 4. Our fence, the other day we had some significant wind. Up to 60 miles an hour and ended up blowing this fence over. Gonna work with my neighbor to get that fence repaired. Nevertheless, it's time to go ahead and get the garden ready. So that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so the first one we're gonna do is this mushroom compost here. This is such a big bed, I'm gonna put a whole bag in here. I got 7 bags, I think it is. So I'll go ahead and use a whole one for this one. Alright, so again, from Flex, this is your mushroom compost. You can use any blend of compost, and we like to do 3 to 5. Usually I do 3, so you got mushroom, black cow, and the chicken manure. And I will put some compost from my own individual, I got a compost tumbler, I'll add in it as well. But you want to blend because it just provides different micronutrients. It just makes your plants really do well. Alright, so next up is the black cow. I'm holding this thing up to some extent because I don't want it to compress the soil. That's important. So let's go with a little black cow. Looks like it's got a little mold on it, but it ain't gonna hurt anything. All I'm doing is just kind of spreading it around. I'll get my pitchfork and blend it in here in a minute. Alright, so this is the chicken manure compost. This stuff is pretty strong. I usually do like half a bag in here. I don't think it needs quite as much. But again, and it gets pretty wet and nasty, but break it up. That way when you spread it around, it's going to help your entire bed. This has quite an ammonia smell as well, but it's good for your plants. Natural compost is, in my opinion, is where you're at. Because look, I don't want to have a bunch of synthetic chemicals, synthetic fertilizers. I want it organic. This is what you get from using this kind of compost, so it'll work. If you check out my videos, you'll see how much it works. A lot of great harvest. I got more vegetables than I can have, so I end up bringing some over to my in-laws. My dad has his own garden, so don't typically need anything. But I really enjoy organic food. I think it's important to figure out what's going in your system. All right, so let's add some vermiculite and some Sowing peat moss. All right, another key portion of our Mills mix is the Sowing peat moss. This is a 3.8 cubic feet. It's compressed, so it's, you gotta work a little bit to get it out, but it's well worth it. Like I said, it's kind of compressed, so you just want to throw a little bit in here, mix it around. This kind of gives you, it actually absorbs the rain and water a little bit, and it actually just gives you some bulk as well. You want to fill your bed up, and the friability is all related as well. All right, that's probably close to enough. All right, next up, and one of the 1/3 of your Mills mix, or your best mix you could ever have, soil mix, is vermiculite. It's got to be coarse. It's mined. It's a natural product. It helps with friability, holding a little bit of water, and just good for your soil. So we're going to add in some here. Okay. So that's everything we need to add. What we need to do is kind of just working in the top here. Top, 4 to 6 to 8 inches. And then we're updating, we're getting all the minerals that we need, all the fertilizer we need naturally, not through synthetic 13, or whatever it may be, which does a good job. It's just my choice to try to stay, or to stay organic. So let's go ahead and work it in. We'll be good to go. All right, here's the way I work it in. So I got this fork here. I usually work it in between 4 to 8 inches. It works pretty well. Works great, actually. What I don't want to do is throw a tiller in there or something and try to till it all up. He's going to kill every one of your earthworms, which are your original gardeners. Now, inevitably, you will probably kill a few. And that's not what we want to do, but it's okay. We just try not to go too deep to do that, And again, this Mills mix, I mean, I've used different things. I've tried the old gardening mix, silt. That ain't worth a darn. It's got too much clay in it, no nutrients really, or limited. So this mix is the ticket. All right, so I got it kind of worked into the first 6 or 8 inches. I'm gonna just kind of smooth it over with my hand and finish it off. Like I was saying, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of smooth things out, because I'm ready to plant some seeds. Seedlings, I'm gonna wait another week, let this kind of work its way in. I like the smell of manure, compost. And if you got leaves in here, that's great. Leave them in. They're going to compost down. They're going to break down and give you some organic matter. And that's still a good thing. Now, if you notice, I also took out my automated watering drip hose. Gotta make sure it's set right. Alright, so I got everything done I need to get done to amend my beds. Third, vermiculite, the coarse size. Perlite can be used. I don't like it as much as this vermiculite, but it can be used. Spangham peat moss. If you're worried about sustainability, there is you can use coconut coir. I've just never had great success with substituting that, but that is supposed to be a substitute for Spangham peat moss. And then you want a third combination of 3 to 5 compost. And if you're in the kind of Baton Rouge, general Baton Rouge area, there's Clegg's Nursery, which has mushroom compost. They have the cow manure compost and the chicken manure compost. That's typically what I go with, and then throw in some of my old compost from my tumbler out there. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to show you the rest of the amending the beds. This is enough for you can see what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and plant. I have some potatoes that are, seed potatoes that they're growing out. I'll show you those. Then also I'm going to plant some bush beans, a couple different kinds never done before, and we'll go ahead and water them in and kind of go from there. Alright, so what we have here, we got some potatoes we got from Clegg's Nursery. As you can tell, I had them in a bag, and you can see the eyes are starting to grow. They're Yukon Gold, but some of them look pink and some of them look a little bit different. So not sure if it's a different type or not, but it don't really matter. These are what grows up and becomes your potato plants. These seed potatoes won't result in good potatoes, but they're fuel to generate your good potatoes. So let's go ahead and get those started. And to go ahead and get potatoes going, what you want to do is kind of trench it, right? Right, so we're trenching it in because we're going to put those potatoes down in the trench. Hey, all you earthworms, good job. We're going to trench it in. So what we'll do is we'll actually plant it in here at the bottom of the trench. We're going to go ahead and put those in here. Let me grab one. Okay. So what we want to do is go ahead and just put it in here. I'm going to dig it down just a little bit more so I can pile on top of it. Okay, and that's good. So we want to come down about, I don't know, 8 inches. But throw another one in here. Again, another one here in this trench. Alright, so what we do is we go ahead and, this is all we do. We're not going to cover it up anymore. And we're going to let it grow up. So the potato plant will come out of that, the actual potato, the seed potato. It'll come up 3-4 foot. And as it starts coming up, then we'll want to go ahead and insert and cover that area another 2 or 3, 4 inches. So you kind of go down and you do this. So once it comes out of the ground, you come up here and you start leveling it off a little bit. We don't need to do that yet. But again, 3 to 4 inches deep, maybe 6 to 12 inches, whatever you want to do. This particular soil, the Mel's mix, third vermiculite, and a third the Spangham peat moss, and a third a mixture of compost. I mean, that's really what you need. That's the absolute best nutrition you can give your plants. And so you can kind of go a little bit closer than you normally would based on the soil and the nutrients. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish planting all these, and we'll go from there. I got some beans we're gonna go ahead and sow as well, and that'll kind of conclude everything today. All right, so I went ahead and planted some potatoes along here. Ryan put a row in along here. They were the Yukon Gold. I'm not sure, there's another one that's kind of purple. You're going to see plants coming out of the soil. We'll let it come up a little bit, and then we'll actually cover over that and build up, because your potatoes are coming out of the roots from that seed potato. Seed potato is not worth anything once you grow it. It kind of gets where it's like it rots, but it's the fuel, as Ryan says, the fuel for creating the new potatoes. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So you got some seed potatoes, one potato you plant, and then you end up having 4, 5, 6, 7, depends upon how great the harvest is, but you end up getting a bunch of potatoes out of it, so it's pretty cool. There's nothing like growing something out in your garden that's organic. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant right here some bush beans. I went ahead and went by Clegg's. So I got those seed potatoes, and I got some Jackson Wonder Bush Lima. So these are bush beans. Okay, and I also got some Jade bush beans, and look at the color. That was just kind of neat to go ahead and plant those. So these are bush beans. You also have the pole beans, P-O-L-E, pole beans. And the reason they call it pole beans is they vine basically, and then you'll have beans coming off of, but it's contained within that bush. Whereas a lot of your pole beans, which are typically more productive, but you got to have somewhere for it to run and climb. And so I just thought I'd do something simple, pretty beans, and we'll see how they go. Now what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna use this square foot gardening tool. You can see it's seeding square. If you have great soil, if you don't have good soil, you don't want to necessarily do a square foot gardening type of garden, or planting. But we got excellent soil. You just saw me put in all the things we needed to have it amended. All right, what I'm going to do is go ahead and plant these. I'm going to do the blue, so we get 4 within a square foot. It's real simple. All you want to do is drop it in. Okay. And this is just a nice way to make sure you got your spacing correct. I'm going to not poke them in yet. I will in just a second. But you come over here. You come over a foot. I'm going to drop it in here. The blue here, here, and here. So I can get 4 bush beans in a square foot. Don't want to go more because it's going to end up probably not producing much as you want. All right, so let me go one more. Bingo. And then the final plot here, final square foot. All right, now I'm going to plant a bunch more of these as well as those limas. So what you see from this is we now have perfect spacing. Use your finger poking in about a ½ inch down. Cover them up. Again, poke them down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish putting in all these beans, and you don't need to see me do all that. I'm gonna finish that up. I got some more beds I got to amend. I'm not gonna put that on the video, but I got a lot more work to do. Yes, so within by next week, I already got all my seedlings or my seeds that I started inside or sowed inside. Put a video on that. They're pretty much ready to go. What we're always waiting on is when that last frost is gonna come. Looks like we're in pretty good shape at this point. Probably next week I will go ahead and plant those seedlings out here, and we'll put a video to cover that as well. Now, of course, one final thing you got to do after you put some seeds in, seed potatoes and the beans, is you got to go ahead and water them in, right? So let's do that real quick before we head in and relax. We really got to kind of water them in. All right, we'll finish watering this in. All right, guys, thanks for watching. So we just kind of did a review. I had to pull these blackberries right behind me. I pulled them all out. They were dead. I've had them for 10 years plus. Not sure why they're dead, but that's okay. Went in and pulled all that out. We also went and repaired a couple of our beds. Once the boards become rotten, sometimes the screws don't hold them in, so the pressure of the soil bends them out. Fixed a couple of those. Fixed some of these as well here. They were rotted. This is where I pulled those blackberries out. So it's something we got to do here again in the future is plant some blackberries, because I love blackberries. And hey, look, if you haven't amended your bed yet, there's still plenty of time. If you haven't planted yet, you've still got plenty of time. So typically it's around the March 15th time frame when you're kind of concerned about whether it's going to frost or freeze again. Looking at the 10-day outlook, I think we're in pretty good shape at this point. But we got to go ahead and amend the beds. And we went in and put some beans in. We put the potatoes in. You can actually go a couple of weeks before then, because even if it does freeze, if the seedlings don't come out of the ground, they're typically in pretty good shape. Just running a little bit behind this year, right? Next video, we're going to go ahead and get the seedlings that I planted back around in New Year's, within the first week of January at least. We're going to plant it out here in our garden, the amended beds. So look forward to that. We'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. As always, we will see you in the next video.